G'day guys, welcome back to the Time Bomb channel. Hope all is good in your part of the world. Can you ever have too many G-SHOCK squares? That's a very good question. Answers on a postcard to the Bombardier, please. Today we are going to watch a review of the CASIO G-SHOCK G5600U. I call this the alternative square. I've been looking to add one of these to the watch quiver for a while, and the primary reason for that is because they're not widely available here in Eurolandia. You either got to bring them in from the States or Asia, but it is of course quite easy to confuse because of the numbering in there. Very easy to confuse with the standard DW 5600 and maybe even possibly the 5000U. So for the purposes of this video and ensure my brain doesn't melt, we've got the G56, the DW56 and the 5000. Let me just focus in. All right, and just before I continue, Johan, you'll be pleased to see that Saddam has received a little bit of life support and is now ticking again. So as I mentioned before, so the G56 to me is a little bit of an outlier. It's a little bit of an alternative because I think the Solar 5610s seem to get a lot more love. They're much more widely available, and yeah, it's just that sort of little bit of an alternative. There isn't, a huge amount of difference perhaps between its cousin, the DW 5600, except to say that it is a solar version of it with a couple of specs changes. And as you can see in hand, it is also a fraction smaller. So let me just get the three of them together so that we can do a little side by side. So the 56, so let's get my nomenclature correct. So G56 is a fraction smaller. It's 46 mils across, 46.7, excuse me, 43.2 north to south, and then 12 mils deep. These two have the same cave sizes in that they are 48.9 by 42.8. This one though being 13.4 mils deep. This one being a smidgen deeper at 13.5 mils. Let me just do a quick on top and bottom so you can see what I'm talking about there. Admittedly, this one has the bumper on it, but you can still see, the north to south. This one is smaller. It's also a fraction thinner, but again, I think there side by side you can see that it also just a teeny bit smaller, which again it will be better for a lot of wrists. And then just for an immediate comparison, there next to the 5000U. As I say, small differences, but on wrist you will probably notice them. Weight wise, there is only a gram between the G56 and the DW 5600. I think they're around 52 grams, 53 grams, obviously with the bumper on this one. So this one being the heavier of the two, and with the bumper again that fraction bit heavier. No point really talking about the 5000 because it's got all that steel around the back, so automatically making it much heavier, and even on this combi as well, I think that might add a little bit to it. So I think I'm getting around 80 grams at the moment on that one. The DW 5600 is generally considered, as the basic of all squares, and it's available in probably most colorways, and more colorways than you could potentially want. There's a myriad of options. To me, it is my DIY watch. So when I'm cutting the grass or painting or whatever, this is the watch that I'll go and put on. And yes, that shows an indication of my wristwatch disease, is that depending on the job I'm doing, I will wear a different wristwatch. We can talk about that much later. The 5000U, however, I always find is a little bit more hipster, simply because the overall finishing on it is very different. Quality of it is very different, and obviously again having the all steel back makes this into a very different wearing watch. But again, as I say, if you're considering throwing it on a combi, do beware, because I would strongly recommend getting curved spring bars or slightly bending the spring bars that you're going to use in there, because that was an absolute nightmare to get in there, and as a consequence I've never taken it off the combi. Although I often feel I would like to put it back on a resin, but then I think how much time it's going to take me to get it back on that combi, I'll just leave it where it is for the time being. So everything on the 5000U is slightly more upgraded. I think, you know, the finishing on everything, the crystal, it even seems to be much clearer, the digits behind. So yeah, a little bit more of a top end of the squares. 5600 then right down at the bottom. Whereas, and so this G56 to me, as I say, it sits somewhere in the middle. The module actually I think is only one digit off this one. So again, not massive amounts of difference. As I say, let me just throw it on wrist so that you can see what it looks like. Not a massive amount to say about it other than that. So I was just done a wrist check. So this then obviously is the MDV, and here it is on its quality strap from AliExpress with that wonderful. As I say, to me, I think it just makes it look a little bit more grown up on that strap. Okay, throw this one on wrist. Nice and quick. So there we go. So there is the G56 on wrist. To me, absolutely perfect. And the fact that it's solar, I think again, my preference on G-SHOCKs is that they are solar. So yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes. Other things to note, I mean, yeah, the buck and strapple, the strap and buckle are box standard. Nothing to tell you about there. Case package are exactly the same. Buttons are exactly the same as the other ones, as I say. So they've just shrunk it down a little bit, added a different module inside, and there we go. All right, guys, quick wrap for today. As I say, just wanted to introduce this one as an alternative if you're considering that. The other thing, of course, is that a lot of people like this one over the standard positive display 5600s because people don't like the red around the dial. I mean, it doesn't really bother me at all, but some people have a strong disliking of it, so this is why they go for this one as an alternative. All right, nice one, guys. Talk to you soon. Cheers now.